Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight's story is not just breaking news, it is a turning point in modern warfare. A moment that could redefine the entire balance of power in Eastern Europe and shake the foundations of Vladimir Putin's rule itself. What Ukraine has unleashed on Crimea is nothing short of historic. Missiles screaming through the night sky, Russian defenses overwhelmed, military bases reduced to burning wreckage, and a psychological shockwave spreading all the way from Sevastopol to the Kremlin. This is Ukraine raining hell on Crimea, and for Vladimir Putin, this may be the beginning of losing everything he once believed was untouchable. For years, Crimea was portrayed by Moscow as an unbreakable fortress. Since its illegal annexation in 2014, Putin turned the peninsula into a symbol of Russian power, nationalism, and imperial revival. It was supposed to be sacred ground, protected by layered air defenses, elite troops, and the Black Sea Fleet, the pride of Russia's naval power. Russian media called it unsinkable, impregnable, and forever Russian. But tonight, that myth is burning. What we are witnessing now is not a random strike, not a one-off attack. This is a calculated, systematic, and devastating Ukrainian campaign designed to dismantle Russia's grip on Crimea piece by piece. Ukrainian forces are no longer merely defending territory, they are dictating the battlefield, choosing the time, the targets, and the message. And the message is brutally clear. Nowhere is safe anymore, not even Crimea. The strikes began under the cover of darkness. Long-range drones slipped through Russian airspace, some flying low over the sea, others approaching from unexpected angles. Moments later, precision missiles followed, slamming into military airfields, ammunition depots, radar stations, and command centers. Explosions lit up the Crimean sky, visible for kilometers. Residents reported shockwaves shaking buildings, windows shattered, and thick plumes of smoke rising from supposedly secure military zones. Sevastopol, the crown jewel of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, once again found itself under attack. This port city is more than just a base, it is a symbol of Russian naval dominance. Yet Ukrainian strikes have repeatedly humiliated the fleet here. Warships damaged or destroyed, docks crippled, fuel storage facilities ignited. Each explosion chips away at Russia's ability to project power across the Black Sea. Each hit sends a message that Putin's navy is no longer the master of these waters. Russian air defenses fired desperately into the sky, but their failure was obvious. Interceptors missed targets. Radar systems were blinded. Some missiles slipped through without resistance. This is a nightmare scenario for Moscow, because Crimea was supposed to be the most heavily defended region in the entire war. If Ukraine can punch through here, then nothing else Russia holds can truly be considered secure. The psychological impact cannot be overstated. Crimea was sold to the Russian public as a permanent victory, a patriotic triumph that justified everything Putin had done. Losing control over Crimea, or even appearing vulnerable there, shatters the illusion of strength that the Kremlin has relied on for years. This is not just a military blow, it is a political earthquake. Inside Russia, panic is beginning to replace confidence. Pro-Kremlin military bloggers, once full of bravado, are now openly questioning the competence of Russian commanders. Social media channels linked to Russian soldiers are filled with anger and disbelief. How could Ukraine strike so deep? How could the defenses fail again? Who is responsible for this disaster? And these questions are dangerous for Vladimir Putin because they point upward. In authoritarian systems, military humiliation often becomes political poison. When victories disappear and losses pile up, loyalty erodes. Elites begin to whisper. Security chiefs begin to calculate their own survival. The same system that once protected Putin could one day turn against him. Ukraine understands this dynamic perfectly. That is why Crimea is such a powerful target. Militarily, it is a logistical hub, a launch pad for missile attacks, and a base for naval operations. Politically, it is Putin's crown jewel. Psychologically, it is the heart of Russia's claim to dominance over Ukraine. By striking Crimea, Ukraine is attacking all three at once. Western supplied weapons have played a crucial role in this transformation. Long-range missiles, advanced drones, real-time intelligence, and precision targeting have given Ukraine the ability to hit exactly where it hurts the most. Russia's old strategy of overwhelming force and intimidation is no longer enough. The battlefield has evolved, and Ukraine has adapted faster. What makes this moment even more significant is timing. These strikes come as Russia is already struggling on multiple fronts. Manpower shortages are worsening. Equipment losses are mounting. Sanctions continue to choke Russia's economy. Internal dissent is growing quietly but steadily. The war that Putin promised would be quick and glorious has become long, costly, and humiliating. Crimea was supposed to be the reward, the prize that justified the pain. Now, instead of victory parades, Russians are watching videos of explosions on territory their government swore would never be threatened again. That contradiction is deadly for a regime built on the image of strength. For Ukrainians, these strikes represent something deeply emotional. Crimea is not just strategic land, it is home. It is the place where families were separated, identities erased, and freedoms crushed under occupation. Every successful strike brings the idea of liberation closer to reality. Ukrainian officials have made it clear. Crimea is Ukraine, and its return is not a question of if, but when. On the battlefield, Russian forces in Crimea are being forced into defensive chaos. Aircraft are being relocated. Ammunition is being dispersed. Commanders are constantly changing positions to avoid being targeted. This disrupts coordination, slows response times, and weakens morale. A nervous army makes mistakes, and mistakes in war are often fatal. Meanwhile, the Black Sea Fleet's role has been dramatically reduced. Russian ships now hesitate to operate freely, fearing drone attacks and missile strikes. This limits Russia's ability to blockade Ukraine, protect supply lines, or project power toward NATO's eastern flank. In effect, Ukraine is rewriting the naval balance of the entire region. Internationally, these attacks are being watched closely. Allies see proof that supporting Ukraine yields results. Skeptics see that Russia is not invincible. Neutral countries begin to reconsider where power truly lies. Putin's image as a strategic mastermind is fading, replaced by that of a leader trapped by his own decisions. Inside the Kremlin, the pressure is unbearable. Putin faces an impossible choice: escalate further and risk catastrophic consequences, or accept gradual defeat and the loss of his legacy. Neither option offers a clean exit. Every move now carries enormous risk. Escalation could mean broader war, deeper isolation, and even internal revolt. Acceptance of defeat would mean admitting failure, something Putin has never done. His entire rule has been built on projecting control. Losing Crimea would be more than losing territory. It would be losing the story that kept him in power. History shows us that authoritarian leaders rarely fall because of one single event. They fall because of accumulation, military losses, economic pain, elite infighting, and public disillusionment. Crimea could become the symbol of that accumulation, the place where the illusion finally collapsed. As the smoke rises over military bases and the sirens fade into the night, one truth becomes undeniable: the war has entered a new phase. Ukraine is no longer just resisting. Ukraine is dismantling Russia's ability to dominate. Step by step, strike by strike, myth by myth. For Putin, the loss is not only on the battlefield. It is in credibility, authority, and control. The man who promised to restore Russian greatness is now presiding over one of the most damaging military failures in his country's modern history. And the reign of hell over Crimea may only be the beginning, because once fear changes sides, once confidence shifts, once the world sees that even the strongest fortress can fall, everything changes. This is Ukraine rewriting the rules of war. This is Crimea no longer being safe. And this is Vladimir Putin facing the most dangerous moment of his rule. If you found this analysis powerful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Stay with us as we continue to track every major development in this war, because history is being written right now, and the next chapter could change the world.